Welcome to the Orange County Sportsplex here in Hillsborough, North Carolina. Chris Lehman with you on the UNC Ice Hockey YouTube channel as we get set for a home matchup for your UNC Tar Heels as they take on the Richmond Spiders. Just about done with warm-ups. They're going to have an announcement of lineups and the national anthem, so we'll step aside for just a moment and be back with puck drop between the Richmond Spiders and your North Carolina Tar Heels right after that.
I'm Mason Regan. I'm a junior on the team this year. Check out our new website, unchockey.com. We have our team schedule, roster. We have a team store set up too, and it's for a 501c company, so all donations are tax deductible. Come out and see us play sometime.
It's time for a puck drop here in Hillsborough. The Tar Heels and the Spiders set to face off here in the first period. Chapel Hill coming in with a 3-0-1 record as right off the bat it's poked up into the netting on the near side, and we'll get a neutral zone face-off. But Tar Heels coming off of a rough loss against Elon as they led 3-0 at one point over the Phoenix here in Hillsborough last week and ended up falling in overtime 6-5. An equally devastating loss, you could say, for Richmond last night as they were in Raleigh at the Iceplex taking on the NC State Wolfpack, and the Pack dominated 16-0 over the Spiders last night, so they'll look to bounce back. Carolina on the attack, charging into the zone, and it'll be swept out in front by Matt Richard. Nobody there to scoop it up, and Richmond clears it all the way down. No icing call, so the Tar Heels regroup in their own zone. Pass up the near side, too long. It'll be shot back in. And again, Carolina going to have to reset. Pressure applied by Richmond. These two teams have met once before this season up in Virginia. The Tar Heels victorious 6-3 over the Spiders last month. Carolina looking to get a change, and instead we'll get a face-off as the Tar Heels unable to get it in cleanly. Ben Reese up that far sideline was trying to chip and chase there, and he was denied on that far boards. Face-off just outside the Richmond zone. Drawn back into their defensive end, and the Spiders move forward. Straight up the middle, there's a gap, but Carolina closes it down. Defenseman Daniel Jones gets in the way. And now Carolina will possess behind their own cage. Matt Gelletley leads the team with 3 goals on this young season. He'll streak up the near side. Into the near corner, looks to cut in front, tosses the puck there into the slot. Nobody to finish it off, but the Tar Heels look to set up the attack from the far point, thrown towards the net. Nobody there. Carolina behind the net. Noah Friedman dumps back behind. He can't connect, and it'll be Richmond breaking it out of the zone. Up the middle they go. Eamon McDonald working on his defenseman. Forced out wide, closed off nicely by Jones, and Carolina takes possession. And UNC, as we mentioned, 6-3 winners. They've got off to a solid start. I was able to talk with head coach Jeff Volkman before the game a little bit about that Elon contest. He said they got off to a good start, and it just kind of all fell apart in the end. Too many mental mistakes, and that's what they're looking to clean up in this game today. Long shot from the neutral zone, blocker down by the starting netminder Charlie Moss for Richmond. And the Spiders take back control. Craig McDonald weaving up the near side. Jumps over a check from Kyle Oliveira, but he can't maintain possession. This gives Carolina a chance to counter, but it'll be snooped out from behind and sent back in. Tar Heels giving chase. And they've been a little bit disorganized on the breakout. Stuck up at the point, floating shot in. Loose rebound in front, and it's knocked home. Craig McDonald opens the scoring just over 2.5 minutes in. And the Spiders on the board first. That was something you've got to think they were really looking for and pushing for here early in this game. That's an important one to get if you're Richmond after a tough outing against NC State last night. Off the faceoff, dumped into the North Carolina zone. They'll fight for it behind the net. Chapel Hill takes control. Stretch pass stretches out too far, and it'll go all the way down the ice for an icing call. The intended target on that one was Adamson. And he just wasn't quite able to get to it. That's been the toughest part for Chapel Hill here in the first couple of minutes, is just getting into the zone and setting up the attack. They've gotten a couple of good chances towards goal, but they haven't put together a sustained attack where they've kept it in the offensive zone for extended period of time. Shot off the faceoff from the near point, towed away, but still loose in the far corner. Carolina comes away with it. Pass to the middle, deflected onward, but not controlled by the Tar Heels. As Patrick Kramer got a toe to it with his stick, but couldn't do much more with it. Carolina forces it down into the near corner, looking to gain possession. Kramer does, sweeps it towards the net, but it's intercepted, and it'll be reversed out by Richmond's Corsiglia. Peter Corsiglia loses control. Carolina back in possession. Tar Heels gain the red line, dump it deep out behind the net. Moss will slow it down for his defense. Curling out in front. Breakout pass gets through cleanly, but a neutral zone steal from Matt Gelletley gets it back in control of the Tar Heels. To the far side of the ice, Matt Richard. Back to the middle. Gelletley moving forward, wrist one just wide, and they'll fight for it behind the frame. Cleared up the far sideline. One-time shot deflected wide off the stick of Matt Richard, and the rebound's knocked in. The Tar Heels even it up about a minute and a half later, and this one will go to Noah Friedman, his second of the season. But both goals have just been cleaning up loose change on the doorstep. So back to center ice for the faceoff. 16:01 to go in the first period. That goal from Friedman on the loose puck in front ties us up at 1. Again, Richmond will gain possession and throw it deep. Tar Heels move it back up, weaving out on that far sideline. Pardon me, that far side of the ice was Friedman, loses control, and Richmond clears it back out. Tar Heels track it down in their defensive zone. The clearing pass deflects off a skate of a Spider, and it'll be out in the UNC bench. So we'll get a face-off just outside of the Carolina zone. This is the first season in the ACCHL for the Richmond Spiders, one of 2 teams, including West Virginia, who have joined the league for their inaugural seasons in the ACCHL. But an ever-growing league that has now become 16 teams large. Rebound in front and a diving save made by Moss. Right on the doorstep was John Beeson. Another shot thrown at the net from the point. That one misses high and catches the glass behind. But Chapel Hill finally getting some pressure on in the offensive zone. Breakout pass, tipped back in. It did get out, so the Tar Heels have to check up. That'll give the Spiders time to break it out. Up the near boards and cleared in around the net. But Richmond just gasping for air right now, trying to get a new line out there. That gives Carolina space to move forward. Shot from Jones whistles wide. Far corner, Jones picks back up the loose puck, cuts in front to the slot and shoots it just high. Still Chapel Hill in control. Adamson throws it to the front, intercepted. And now Richmond has a chance to break it out, but it'll be picked off at the blue line. Top of the near circle, shot from Addison off a skate. And deflects wide, Adamson with it again. Works in behind the net. Shoved off the puck, it'll squirt loose into the slot. Richmond's there to knock it out of danger. Forced forward by Carson Beckett, and he'll move it into the Carolina zone. Stalls out at the blue line. They'll scrum for it along those far boards. Glove down inside the zone nicely by Maxwell, but finally Carolina gets it off the glass and out. Weak roller into the zone, will not go for icing. Carolina applies the pressure as Richmond looks to break out. Near side boards, Kyle Oliveira into the scrum for Carolina. Puck pops loose all the way across the ice and it'll be thrown in on goal, where Carolina takes back over. Near corner. They'll work it up the side of the ice. And both teams have done a good job clogging up the boards. Finally, Carolina lifts it in behind the Richmond net. That was Patrick Kramer who got it deep. He'll put pressure on at the blue line. Puck squirts loose, and it'll be poked out of the zone. Richmond, again, dodges a bullet. They've had some miscues breaking it out, particularly at their own blue line. Chance coming in. Galletley tees up the slap shot from the near circle, and it's shouldered away by Moss and into the far corner. That's where Richmond will take control. Adam Fontana loops it into the zone. It'll be steered into the far corner where Carolina takes control. Breakout up the far boards, breaks down, and it's thrown back deep, giving chase Jackson Thomas behind his own cage. Swings it along the boards, up the near side, and Carolina gets stalled up there momentarily, finally out into the neutral zone. A chance to move forward into the attacking zone. Backhander off the post for Galletley. Tried to go short side on Moss and just about beat him. But now Richmond breaking back the other way. In alone, a deke, a shot, and a save made. These two teams trading chances early. Closing in on the halfway point of the first period already. It's been a fluid action. Not a lot of stoppages between these two teams. Centering pass, no one there for the Tar Heels, but they'll get it back at the top of the zone at the point. Lifted back behind the cage. Slapped back out, but nobody there on the near point to track it down. Oliveira heads back all the way down, and now we're going to get an icing call. It looks like they made a mistake with that one. They whistled an icing. This one will come back to center ice. The linesman didn't realize that it was a Chapel Hill player who actually knocked that one the length of the ice. 11:55 to go in the first. A 1-1 tie right now between Carolina and Richmond. Chapel Hill controls off the faceoff. They'll get it deep into Richmond territory. Swept around the boards, poked out in front as the Spiders look to break out. And they finally do force it out of the zone, but not much further. A fight between the benches for that one. It pumps out on the Carolina side. They'll lift it deep and get a change. Along their own blue line, Richmond in control. Pressure being applied by Chapel Hill's Mason Regan. And he forces a bad pass. Neutral zone turnover. Tar Heels in control, into the zone. Up to the point, stepping in. The slap shot goes wide from junior Matt Richard. And the rebound rolls all the way out to the point. It does eventually get forced out of the zone by Richmond, but they have not been able to control the puck in the offensive zone. Reese with the steal in the near corner. Trying to center it. Got deflected up in the air at the point. It's thrown on net. Reese gets a piece of it, and he can't deflect it on goal. Lifted it up over top, and it stays 1-1. Pass to the near side. Tracked down by Regan and thrown deep where Moss can stop it behind his own net. Up the near sideboards, it's McDonald. Craig McDonald throws it to the front, and it's turned over. Carolina a chance, but it gets deflected off frame, and we'll have a face-off on the near circle in front of the Richmond net. Oh, pardon me, they'll switch it over to the far side, but it'll be the goal scorer, Noah Friedman, to take the face-off for Carolina up against Corsiglia for Richmond. One forward by Friedman. Galletley forces his way in, can't put it on net, and it'll be lifted up to the blue line. Nice hit laid on that far point. That'll knock the puck loose. The clearance is gloved down by Galletley. He'll spin around and throw one towards the net. Doesn't get there, and now Richmond can break out. Out comes Peter Corsiglia. He'll cut to the far boards in the neutral zone. Can't catch up to his own pass, and they'll have to fight for possession in front of the Carolina bench. A 2v2 scrum. Tar Heels win it. Skate to stick. Chapel Hill moves forward. Galletley, top of the near circle, throws one toward the goal, and it's blocked at the defense and cleared back to the point. Wrapped around the boards. Behind it's Friedman. Centered for Galletley. Off the heel of his stick, and he couldn't put it on net. Again, cleared up to the point. Kicked and capped in by Wieland. And Chapel Hill will keep the pressure on from the far point. The shot thrown straight into the gut of Moss, and he'll swallow it up for a whistle and a face-off. But a great sustained attack there from the Tar Heels. That's the best possession we've seen for them here in this game so far, as they've been able to keep the puck in for some quality zone time. Face off again in that far circle to the left of Moss. One backwards by Chapel Hill. Thrown towards the net. Looked like it got tipped in front wide, but still Carolina in control. Loose in front of the cage, and it's swept just wide by Regan, but we've got a whistle. And I didn't see an arm go up. And that one must have gotten out of play somewhere and caught the netting. And they'll redo the faceoff from the far side. Carolina wins it, but it's quickly stolen away by Jack Hutchinson. Hutchinson pivots at the top of the zone. Throws it in front. Deflected towards goal, but Carolina stops it up and swings it to the far side of the ice. Scrum ensues there. Players jamming away. Pops out to Carolina once again. They'll switch it to the near side. Charging down the near boards. In is Beeson. Centers one, and there's nobody there to finish it. He was behind his teammate Carlson with the pass. And Carlson barrels through the net. That'll bring the faceoff out of the zone as the net comes off its moorings. 8:46 to go here in the first period. The first strike of the game came from the Richmond Spiders. And their forward, Craig McDonald, cleaning up some garbage in front of the Carolina net. Noah Friedman did the same for Chapel Hill about a minute and a half later to tie it up. And we've been that way for almost 8 minutes now. We'll have another face-off in the Richmond zone, and we have a penalty on the Spiders this time. I did not see the signal from the official, but a 2-minute man advantage coming up here for Carolina. We've got a pause here while they try and get it up on the scoreboard. But this is a big power play to have early. Carolina has been upping the pressure. Their scoring chances have gotten better and better throughout this period. And now they've got a chance to pin the Spiders back in their own zone here for 2 minutes. They're still having some trouble with that clock, and it's tough to keep track of that time if you can't get it on the scoreboard. Oh, and it looks like they've decided just to keep it in the box, but everyone will have a mental note. The power play ends at 6:46 of the first period. Carolina off the faceoff, wins it forward behind the net. It's Reese in the near corner, thrown back behind the net for Adamson. It slips off his stick, but a weak clearance is kept in at the top of the point. Thrown towards the net, and it's swallowed up by Moss from that far sideboards. Kyle Oliveira was the one who took that shot. Kramer to take the faceoff for Carolina. That'll be one towards the goal, sticked away by Moss and cleared up the glass and out by the Spiders' penalty kill. 25 seconds gone on the man advantage for Carolina. Back into the zone they go, down the far side of the boards. It's Adamson thrown to the center, and it hops the stick of Kramer, who batted it back across, but nobody could finish. Another excellent chance with a gaping 4x6, and they couldn't finish it. Shot thrown on net, squirts to the goaltender Moss. It's poked back in front by Kramer. A couple of good chances for Patrick Kramer, and again, can't finish. Halfway through the man advantage for the Tar Heels. Still a 1-1 tie here in the first period. Clearance off the boards, off the stick of the defenseman Richards, and out. And Carolina's power play will have to reset. Down to about 45 seconds into the zone. Spinning around, John Beeson's knocked off the puck, and the Spiders will clear. Up the near sideline. Pass finds Gellatley. He'll tee up a monster shot that ends up over the top, rings around the boards, and out. Just 20 seconds left on the man advantage for Carolina now. They'll have one more chance to break it out and put one on goal, but the pass out of the neutral zone is deflected and stolen. Craig McDonald swings it back in, and that'll effectively kill off the rest of this penalty. Carolina behind their own net, looking to break out. Pass out of the zone to the far boards is out of the reach of the intended target, and Carolina will have to chase it down and dump it deep. Back to even strength hockey here in Hillsborough. And we're tied at 1, 6.5 minutes to go in the first period. Along the boards, McDonald for Richmond. Around Gellatley, he'll dump it deep and avoids the icing. That one was just about too strong, but the Tar Heel defense tracks it down. Stretch pass out of the zone. Misses a couple of players on both sides, and the wave off icing. Richmond trying to clear. It'll be knocked back in by Gellatley, but not before the puck got out of the zone. Offsides, and we'll have a face-off just out of the Richmond zone here on the near boards. 6:11 to go here in period number 1. Even strength, or even at 1 goal apiece. Spiders win the face-off, and it'll be Luke McIntyre who lofts it out of the zone. Carolina takes over at their own blue line. They'll dump it deep from the far sideboards. Again, it's McIntyre getting to it for the Spiders. Up the near boards, it'll be pitchforked onward. And again, Carolina tracks it down in their own zone. The clearing pass, too long, stolen away by Richmond once again. Stuck on those far boards in front of the Carolina bench. Cross-ice pass, taken off the boards by a stumbling Richard. And he gets it deep. Tar Heels a chance to set up in the offensive zone. Pass to the middle, swept wide. A great chance there for Zach Nodden, but he couldn't hit the frame with it. Carolina upping the pressure again. Stopping the breakout for Richmond at the blue line. They'll clear it deep and send a couple guys off for a change. Mason Regan down to pressure behind the net. It'll be shrugged off by Messineo. And RJ Messineo will get out across the red line and clear it into the UNC zone. Tar Heels get control behind their net. Looking to clear it out. It'll be thrown all the way down the ice. And we're going to have another icing call on the Tar Heels with just under 5 minutes to play in the period. Face-off will be to the near side of the Tar Heel net. This is one of only a couple of offensive zone face-offs for Richmond here in this first period. They've been forced to defend really ever since they scored that goal a couple minutes into the game. Tar Heels on the breakout. Pass to the middle will be poked onward and into the Richmond zone. No icing on the play as it was touched across the red line. The Spiders, McIntyre tries to power his way out of the zone. Does get the puck out, but they can't keep possession. And the Tar Heels dump it deep once again. Luke McIntyre chasing it down in the near corner. Swung around the boards, up the far side, and then cleared back in from the point. Well, Carolina able to hold the zone, but not hold possession. Spiders this time do get it all the way out of the zone. And the Tar Heels will have to reset. Jake Whelan thought about taking it in himself, but instead dumps it deep. Near corner, McIntyre for Richmond will lift it out of the zone once again. 4 minutes to go in the period. Gellatley takes control at his own blue line. Saucer pass forward. And it'll be furthered into the far corner by Chris Adamson. He can't hold on to possession. Richmond breaks out of the zone. Off the skates of Eamon McDonald, back to the middle, and nobody there to poke it on net for Richmond. Tar Heels catch a break, and they'll clear it down the ice. And icing waved off. Not sure why. It looked like it had the pace to get the icing call, but the Tar Heels get a break, and Messineo will bring it back out. Throws it to the slot, a chance on goal, couldn't get to the net. And Richmond will have to reset from the neutral zone. They dump it deep. Set on a tee behind the Chapel Hill net. Move forward, Gellatley gets a stick to it at the blue line, pokes it into the far corner, throws it in front looking for Jesse Jacobs, but that pass broken up, and Richmond on the breakout. Bad pass up the zone, but it pops out on the near sideline as Kyle Oliveira couldn't get control. On the far boards, Carolina pushing their way into the Richmond zone. On the right point, held in momentarily, but too many Spiders there, and they'll get it out. Again, Richmond not able to do much outside of their own zone, in terms of possessing the puck. Centering pass from Gelletley is behind Friedman, and it'll be cleared out again by Richmond. And this is how the game has gone for the most part. Carolina's brought it in. Huge hit late on the near sideboards, and we've got a hand up and a penalty on Carolina. I'll get you that penalty here in just a second, but to get back to that last point, the way this game has gone, really, it's been Carolina getting it deep, maybe getting a chance or two, and then Richmond clearing it back out and the Tar Heels resetting. So they're going to have to find a way to put a few more of these in the net to win this hockey game. Noah Friedman will be sent to the box. I believe the call there was a charge, and it'll be a 2-minute penalty for Chapel Hill and a power play for Richmond. And this will take up pretty much the rest of the period. 2:17 left on the clock here in period number 1. 2 minutes on the power play unless the Spiders score early. Behind the Carolina net, it'll be swept up the boards and out. A good early clearance for UNC. Taken back behind the Spider net, and they'll break out. Into the zone, McIntyre stops on the far point, hands it off. Now they'll go cross ice. Shot on goal, and a glove save made. And Carolina will have to face another defensive zone face-off here on the penalty kill. 1:28 left on the power play for the Richmond Spiders. That was their first shot on goal of the power play. So a near circle face-off, one backwards to Luke McIntyre on the near point. He'll toss it into the corner. Spinning around, it'll be backhanded behind the Carolina cage. Centering pass out in front, poked on goal. Nice save made by Douthit. And Carolina unable to clear. Richmond keeps the pressure on with 1:25 to go in the period. And finally, Carolina on the near sideboards, able to lift the puck up and out of the zone to get a quick change and reset the penalty kill. 1:10 to go in the period. Straight up the middle go the Spiders. That's not going to work out. Nice job by Matt Richard to collapse on that one. And the Tar Heels clear it once again. 45 seconds on the power play. Now we are under a minute in the period. Richmond has the breakup set up. RJ Messineo will bring it out. Cross ice to the red line. A quick give and go. It's a miscommunication on the change. Made that look sloppy. And as a result, Carolina with the steal, and now a shorthanded chance coming. In alone, and it's stopped by Moss. Beeson, a great chance on the neutral zone turnover, and he couldn't get it past the glove of Charlie Moss. 25 seconds to go in the period. Under 10 to go in the power play. Last chance with the man advantage for Richmond. They'll get stuck in the corner. Friedman out of the box, and we're full strength for the final 15 seconds of this period. From the near point, shot towards goal. Looked like it was off frame, but gloved anyhow by Douthit. And we'll get a face-off with just under 10 seconds to play in the period. And if you're Chapel Hill here, what you're really looking to do is just win this one into a corner, get possession, and either stall out the clock in your own zone or clear it out and head to the intermission with an even 1-1 score. Off the face-off, Carolina does get control in the near corner. 5 seconds left as they throw it behind their own net, and it'll be tossed up the near boards and into the neutral zone to end the period. Well, a couple of early strikes, one from each team. The first one from McDonald for Richmond made it 1-0. A minute, 20 seconds later, Noah Friedman for Chapel Hill. We're tied at 1 after 20 minutes. We'll be back on the other side with Ben Sizemore, assistant coach for the UNC Tar Heels hockey team. We'll talk to him about the first period and get an outlook on the season for your Tar Heels here early on. Well, it's a 1-1 draw after 20 minutes. We'll be back here in Hillsborough. Welcome back to the Orange County Sportsplex here in Hillsborough, North Carolina. Chris Lehman now alongside assistant coach and former Chapel Hill hockey player Ben Sizemore as we get the officials coming through here for us after the first period. 1-1 tie right now with the Spiders. You've seen them once before. It was a 6-3 win up in Virginia. What seems, if anything, a little bit different after that first period?
They came ready to play. They got the first goal. They got a puck to the net, and we didn't clear it out, and they put it home. They're ready to play today.
And you guys got a goal pretty similarly out in front of the net. I believe Noah Friedman was the one who was able to poke that one home. How good was it to get that goal right back?
It's great. You know, you never want to be down for too long. It's good to tick that box and get back into the game pretty quick.
All right, and we'll look at two. One thing that I noticed throughout the period, early on, I think both sides were a little bit sloppy, still trying to get felt out for the first part of the game. But by the end of the period, you guys really seemed to be getting the pressure, getting more zone time, and getting more chances.
Yeah, our D started stepping up in the zone and keeping pucks deep, and we made an effort to just throw the puck in instead of trying to play around with it in the neutral zone and try and just start working it in the corners and use the fact that we didn't play last night, they did, and try to start using that to our advantage.
We'll see how that pans out. It was a tough one in Raleigh for them against the Wolfpack just last night. But I want to focus on your team here. Off to a great start, 3-0-1 in your first 4 games against some tough competition nonetheless as well. What is different about the team this year, and kind of what is the expectations for this Tar Heel hockey team this year?
Yeah, well, we're taking it one game at a time, and so far this year we've got a really great locker room. The guys have all bonded together, and they're really a really tight-knit group. And we have a smaller bench, so we really rely on that. But they pick each other up. They're friends off the ice, so we're gonna take it one game at a time and see where that team camaraderie takes us this year.
All right, Chris Lehman alongside Ben Sizemore, assistant coach for the UNC Tar Heel hockey team. One last question for you. As I mentioned, a few years ago, you were on the ice, not standing on the bench. How's it different being out there, not being able to affect what's going on the ice?
It's tough, but at least I don't get hit, so that's fine.
All right, Ben, thanks for standing here talking to us for a little bit. 1-1 after one period here in Hillsborough. We'll be back with the second period between UNC and Richmond after this. Welcome back to the Orange County Sportsplex here in Hillsborough, North Carolina. Chris Lehman with you for the second period between your UNC Tar Heels and the Richmond Spiders. 2 early strikes, one from each team, have us even at 1-1. We played the last 16 minutes of the first period scoreless. Now, as you heard from assistant coach Ben Sizemore, during the break, this defensive core stepped up the neutral zone. They forced more pressure. We saw that at the blue line. They would just spoil those breakouts for Richmond. And it led to a lot of pressure. They started getting it deep early instead of trying to carry the puck in themselves and then going in and pressuring and getting it back. But that's what resulted in more zone time for the Tar Heels in period number 1, towards the end of it at least. So we'll see if they can carry that here into the second. About 40 seconds in, Richmond into the Chapel Hill zone for the first time. Over on the far boards, clearance attempt unsuccessful for Patrick Kramer, and it's dumped back into the far corner. Tar Heels decide to carry it out this time. It'll be slapped deep by Ben Reese. And Carolina throws it towards the goal. Rebound attempt for Reese gets poked wide, and Carolina dumps it back to the point. Shot on goal, patted away by Moss. Centering pass, tipped back across, and Moss was out of position, but nobody there to finish for UNC. Along the far boards, lifted out, but not far enough to get out. And Carolina throws it back towards the net. Swung on goal, and we're going to have a penalty coming up as Friedman was knocked into the boards after his shot attempt. And it's going to be interference on Richmond. This will be the second power play of the game for North Carolina. It looks like Sam Knowlton will be the guilty party. But UNC, one good sequence where they were able to hold the zone and throw a couple pucks on net in that first power play, but both teams went 0 for 1 on the man advantage in the first period. Carolina with John Beeson to take the face-off. He'll body up on his counterpart. Win it backwards. A little too strong, though. And it'll be Matt Gellatley who retreats to his own blue line to get it. Gets it back. Cross ice pass finds Jesse Jacobs. Jacobs will leave it for Friedman, who carries it down the far boards. Dropped back and all the way to the point, Gellatley. Off the boards, his pass too weak, and it'll be cleared out by the Richmond penalty kill. And Carolina forced to reset behind their own net. 18:15 to go in the second period. Tied at 1. Gellatley streaking up the near side. Throws one towards the near post and missed off the side of the net. Still, Carolina in control. Friedman circling behind the net to the near corner. Off the boards, back to the point for Daniel Jones. He'll throw it towards the net, and Moss swallows it up with the rebound. And we'll have an offensive zone faceoff coming up for UNC. 17:50 to go in the period. 1:23 to go on the power play for the Tar Heels. And they'll send out a new power play unit. It'll be Patrick Kramer to take the faceoff on the near side of the Richmond net. Now the officials are going to have to talk something over. And the two orange stripes, I'm not sure what they're discussing, but they brought a linesman in with them as well. And I think the only thing that they could be discussing as one official now heads to the Richmond bench, the only thing I could imagine they're discussing would be a too many men on the ice call, which is why they would have called in the linesman to see if he saw anything. So we'll resume play. Far corner, thrown in front, deflected on goal, and it's knocked just wide. Great chance there for Adamson on the power play. In the near corner, Carolina controls. Circling behind the net, it'll be dropped to the point for Matt Richard. Thrown into the middle, nobody there to receive the pass, but Carolina holds on off the boards. Swung behind the net for Ben Reese. Reese looking for Adamson. Pass was too soft, and Richmond able to knock it out of the zone and all the way down to the Tar Heel netminder, and will Douthit. Douthit will leave it behind the cage. Carolina moving quickly up the near side. Adamson gets it deep. A clearing attempt stopped up on the far boards. Squirts loose to the near side, where Adamson gives chase, but he's too late. And once again, Richmond clears. Maybe a chance shorthanded. Moving in. Shot right in on Douthit, and he'll kick that one away. The rebound cleared out by Oliveira, and then sent right back deep by Richmond. Oh, the Spiders aggressive here at the end of this power play for Carolina. Now just 5 seconds left on the man advantage for Chapel Hill as Oliveira goes the length of the ice, finds an open teammate in John Beeson, but he can't corral it well enough to get in on a breakaway, and Richmond kills off the penalty. We're back to even strength. At his own blue line, Matt Richard with it, the junior for UNC. Up the near boards, it'll be shoveled along by Mason Regan as it cycles all the way behind the net. They'll scrum for it back behind the Richmond cage. Chapel Hill wins that battle. Near corner, thrown to the center, stolen away. Only momentarily. Good work from John Beeson to get back and dispossess the Richmond defender. A chance to move forward again for UNC. Shot from the far circle is blockered away. Carlson was the one who pulled the trigger there for the Tar Heels. Carolina looking to reset at their own blue line. Carlson's pass is stolen. Moving in quickly, shot off the side of the goal. A great chance there for Richmond on the counter. Adam Fontana couldn't put it on frame though, and Carolina a chance to break it out. Jake Wieland up the far side. Hands it off for Gellatley to the middle, and it'll squirt all the way through to the near side boards. Cycling behind the net is Daniel Jones, and it'll be sent out in front where Charlie Moss jumps all over it. So another offensive zone face-off for Chapel Hill. 15-13 to go in the second period. And it's been 1-1 since the 16:02 mark of the first period. It's been a long time since we've seen a goal. Whistle off the face-off. Looks like somebody jumped in for the Tar Heels. And so Friedman will be chased from the circle. And it'll be Matt Gellatley to take this face-off now on the far circle in the offensive zone. One backwards by Richmond, cleared up the far boards, and it'll be picked up and out for the Spiders from the neutral zone. Sent deep. Pressure put on by Richmond, but Carolina maintaining control. Jake Whelan goes cross ice. He finds a wide open Matt Gelatley, who will backhand it in towards goal. The deflection just hopped over the stick of a charging forward for Chapel Hill. Shot from the near circle, blocked off by Whelan. It was Friedman who was in with a chance for his second on that pass from Gelatley. But right now, Carolina just going to have to defend. Weak shot rolls in on Douthit, and he'll cover it up for the faceoff. 14:32 to go here in the second period. And UNC still getting the better of the opportunities. Just came off of a power play. Nice job by the Spiders to kill it off. And they didn't really allow Chapel Hill to get that power play unit set up. They were all over them the whole time. Carolina controls off the faceoff as Patrick Kramer streaking forward. Kramer throws one on goal. Blocker down by Moss, and he'll jump on the rebound and cover it up. And that was much needed because there was nobody there for the Spiders to stop that up. And so we have another offensive zone faceoff. Kramer to take it again for the Tar Heels. It'll be won by Richmond, though, back into the near corner. Cycled around the boards, misses everybody. It'll go all the way down, but they're going to wave off icing. Must have hit the Chapel Hill defenseman on the far side. And a miscommunication behind the net. That'll give a chance to Richmond here. Right out in front, the shot's blockered away. Carson Beckett with a good chance. Still loose behind the Carolina cage. Taken by Adamson. And Chris Adamson will swing it off the boards and out. Carolina going to, well, not quite beat out the icing call. And now they're up in arms on the Chapel Hill bench because it certainly looked like Thomas had beat the Richmond defenders to the puck. And I think that the linesmen are going to concede that, and we'll have another center ice face-off. Similar to what we had in the first period when Carolina cleared the Richmond zone and there was some confusion. So center ice face-off here, 13:51 to go in the second. Still a 1-1 tie between North Carolina and Richmond. Spiders control off that face-off to the near side, off the boards and deep. Behind the net, Douthit. He'll stop it and further it. Up the far boards. Richmond stops it at the point. Deflected on goal, and it'll be knocked wide. Chance from the near point. Hits a man in front. And now Richmond coming out with a little bit of fight, and we've got a puck out of play. That one caught the netting here in the near corner. And we'll have a face-off right here in front of the Chapel Hill goal. Well, this is one of the best sequences we've seen from Richmond here in this entire hockey game. Off the face-off, Regan wins it backwards, and it's Chris Adamson to clear it out. Shot deflected wide from the point for Richmond. They'll chase it down in the near corner. And a forceful breakout for North Carolina. Only gets to center ice, though. Turned back by the Spiders. High slot, shot deflects off a stick, goes wide. Far corner, it's Luke McIntyre chasing it down. Or pardon me, Knowlton. Knowlton works it back up the far boards, cycled around to the near corner where Carolina takes over. Picked up by Graham Karen. Karen sends it to the far side boards, looking for an open Beeson. Overshot him, and Richmond takes that opportunity to clear it out. Now this is the tougher of the three periods. This is the period of the long chain, so it's harder to get men off the ice without leaving your team shorthanded if the puck's in your zone. Getting it out, Gelatley to the middle. He has an open Carlson. John Carlson is forced to the far corner. Thought he might get in on a breakaway there, but a nice job closing it out by the Richmond defense. Just over 12 minutes to go here in the second period. As the Matt Richard pass in the corner deflects off the official. That'll give Richmond a chance here to set something up. Near corner, thrown to the top of the point and poked out by Carolina, knocked right back in, and Richmond's offsides. We're seeing some of those mental errors that we mentioned from the end of the Elon game. Took a couple of bad penalties, made some mistakes in their own zone, did Carolina, that led to them losing a 3-0 lead late in the second period. We've seen a couple communication issues. Douthit and his defensemen haven't always been on the same page, and it's given Richmond a few openings that, fortunately for the Tar Heels, they have not taken advantage of yet. About 11.5 to go in the second. In comes Richmond, shot patted away off the stick of Peter Corsiglia. And now a chance for Carolina, racing in. Gellatley throws it on goal as he powered to the net, and Moss is up to the task for the Spiders. That will bring up another face-off in the offensive zone for North Carolina. You see the dangerous speed there of the forward, Matt Gellatley, as he tracked that puck down. I think surprised the Richmond defense as he got behind them quickly. Carolina controls off the faceoff. Ben Reese circling behind the net, throws it out in front. It's off the stick of Adamson, who couldn't get a good touch to the net with that one, and Richmond will get it out. It just seems like so many of these chances for Chapel Hill are close but no cigar. And eventually they've got to find a way to connect that last dot and put one in. A chance here, and they score. A beautiful little pass from the near post to the far, and Charlie Moore didn't stand much of a chance as Chapel Hill takes the lead. And from my vantage point here, tough to see that far end of the rink, but it looked to be a goal from Patrick Kramer, assisted by Chris Adamson. So 2-1 Carolina. Approaching the halfway point of this game. Richmond looking to respond. Stopped up by Jones at the Carolina blue line. Tar Heels looking to counter. Racing forward, Beeson stops in the far corner. Throws it to the slot, deflected out to the point, and the wrist shot goes wide off the stick of Jake Whelan. Big hit late on the far boards. That'll allow Carolina momentarily to keep the zone. Whelan pickpocketed, and a chance coming this way for Knowlton. He'll throw it on goal. Douthit, no problem knocking it away. Jones cleans it up for Carolina, and they'll move it forward again. Another chance for Gellatley. He'll tee up a slap shot from the near circle and whistle it wide of Moss. You got another big hit in the neutral zone. This time it's Richmond. Team's getting physical now. Puck to the high slot. Nobody there for Carolina. It's kept in the zone. Noah Friedman. Nice job getting it deep. Matt Richard slaps one out in front. Pass is blocked back into the corner. And they'll scrum for it. 9:40 to go in the second. Only recently did the Tar Heels take the lead. They have a 2-1 advantage over Richmond right now. Spiders trying to change that. Coming down the near side, and it's Graham Cairn. Back to the middle, high slot, one-timer misses wide by Adam Fontana. Good chance there for Richmond, comes up empty. Friedman sidesteps a check, but loses the puck. It's cleared out to the neutral zone, where Josh Carlson will control, and now we've got some extracurriculars out at the blue line. And Carlson trying to get away from whichever Spider that was. And it appears Sam Knowlton will have to be separated from Oliveira, or Friedman, pardon me, and Oliveira will actually be getting a penalty, as will Knowlton. So pardon me, it looked like it was Friedman over there, but it will be Oliveira who was in that altercation with Knowlton. And we'll get a pair of penalties. We'll have to see here whether this stays 5-on-5 hockey or if they go 4-on-4. It looks like they'll put the penalties up on the board. This will be 4-on-4 hockey for 2 minutes. This is where it can get fun. You have a little bit extra space out there, a little more room to move. And off the offensive zone faceoff, Carolina will fight for it on the near boards. Squirts out into the corner. Tar Heels in control. Shagging some contact there And the far corner was Reese. Ben Reese out in front. Nobody could put it on net. And now from the far corner, it'll be lifted out by Richmond. Stopped up at the blue line by Carlson. He'll throw it deep. And Richmond again will try to break it out. Weak pass up the middle of the zone. Gets out, but only momentarily. And we've got another penalty coming up as Ben Reese is tripped up after the takeaway. And it'll be 4-on-3 for Carolina here. .8:37 to go in the second period. And as I said, with the matching minors for Oliveira and Knowlton putting us at 4-on-4, that penalty on the trip of Ben Reese will make it 4-on-3. So there is a ton of space out there to set up a power play. Carolina in control. Quick one-timer. Whistles wide on the near side. Tar Heels not going to be able to keep control. Stolen on the near sideboards. And the Spiders will waste some clock. In the neutral zone, RJ Messineo will circle around and eventually throw it back behind the North Carolina net, wasting some time. 1 minute left on the matching penalties. An extra 40 or so seconds on the second penalty to Richmond. Bouncing puck in on goal, tipped just wide of Moss. Another chance out in front, and they score. One-timer from an E for Matt Gelattley. And it's 3-1 Carolina. Well, exactly 3 minutes after the goal from Patrick Kramer. It's Matt Gelattley doubling that North Carolina lead. 7:55 to go in the second. Back to 4-on-4 for another 40 seconds as Richmond on the offensive. Shot patted away by Douthit. Slapped back towards the goal. Takes a hard bounce off the boards out in front. Stopped by Douthit. Rebound is blocked away with a glove. Beautiful save by Douthit to keep this a 3-1 game. He's had to be on his toes here on the last couple of sequences, and now we'll get a whistle as on that last play, somebody dislodged the net on the Carolina end. And so we'll have to reset with a face-off. 23 seconds left on the matching minors to Knowlton and Oliveira. And a defensive zone face-off here for Carolina on the near side. Regan wins it backwards off the skate of Graham Caron. Chance here for Richmond. And the net continues to dislodge. That one mooring not set up well. Carolina trying to get it out of the zone on the far side. Really struggling to do so, though, as Richmond keeps it in. A couple of heavy hits later. We're going to have a penalty coming. And I believe this will go against the Tar Heels. A couple of players exchanging high blows. And it'll be Mason Regan, the junior, heading to the box, and it'll be a man advantage for Richmond. It'll be 4-on-3 here for 4 seconds. And this is a spot, if you're Richmond, you got to be careful because being the second period, Oliveira has an advantage going to the Richmond net if Carolina can win this faceoff and clear it out. Well, they will win it, and they'll move it forward, but not out. Stopped at the blue line, thrown back at the net, sticked away by Douthit. 2 men back, 1 from each side, and it's 5-on-4 hockey for the next minute 50. Near corner, they'll fight for it. Clearance attempt fails for Carolina's Caron. And a centering pass is gloved by Douthit to force another faceoff. About 7 minutes left in the second period. 1:44 on the man advantage for the Richmond Spiders. Kramer to take the faceoff for Chapel Hill up against Corsiglia. Corsiglia won it backwards, but Carolina dispossesses at the blue line. A chance shorthanded for Kramer. In on goal, and he steers it just wide. A lot of pressure coming from behind, so he didn't get a clean look at the goal, but a great chance shorthanded. for the Tar Heels. Big hit in the neutral zone will jar the puck loose, and they'll fight for it along the boards. Taken on the near side by Richmond. Pickpocketed by Reese, and he'll force an offsides on the Spiders as he delayed the entry into the zone. And we'll have a face-off in front of the Richmond bench with 6:35 to go in the period. Power play now has 1:21 on it for Richmond, and they'll win another face-off. Backwards to the defense. McIntyre to the near side. It'll be dumped in by the Spiders looking to set up the power play. Jones can't get to it. Knocked back to the point. McIntyre spinning around to the sideboards. Looking to the center, nothing doing. It'll be thrown back into the far corner. Cleared to the point and deflected in. Craig McDonald deflects the McIntyre shot from the point, and it's 3-2 on that power play goal. Give some credit to the Richmond Spiders. After losing 16-0 last night, to turn around here, fall behind 3-1 after taking a lead. And then to come back and score and cut it to 1, that's not an easy thing to do from a mental standpoint if you're the Spiders. So 3-2 with just over 6 minutes to go in the second period. Carolina wins it forward. They'll control in the near corner. Off the sideboards, it'll be forced back behind the net, and a chance here for McDonald to get it out for Richmond, but he holds on to it, thrown to the middle, and it's deflected towards goal, where Moore has to cover it up for a face-off. Off the face-off, it'll be forced to the sideboards. Carolina controls momentarily, lifted off the glass. Richmond trying to get it out. But they're not going to be able to get it past the blue liner. Richard thrown back in behind the net. Carolina in control. Backing into the near corner. It'll be thrown up the boards. And it can't be done cleanly. Spiders take over into the zone. Looking to tie this one up. High slot and a whistle. Looks like we might have a trip coming against the Tar Heels, and another power play for Richmond. .5:27 to go in the second period. And 2 more power play minutes up on the clock for Richmond. They'll win it back to the far point. Tough to control, but eventually corralled and sent to the far corner. Backhanded up the boards by Gelatley. Cleared out now. It's Adamson, a chance moving forward shorthanded. Shot blocked away by Moss, and it'll be deflected back into the near corner on Richmond's side of the ice. The Richmond power play looking to reset, but a nice job pinning this one up against the boards by the Chapel Hill penalty kill. Yeoman's work from Ben Reese. He'll pressure behind the net. Richmond still stuck in their own zone. 40 seconds have run off this North Carolina penalty, and Richmond has not threatened as much as Carolina has. Adamson with a steal at the blue line. He'll throw it deep, and that'll give all 4 penalty killers a chance to get refreshed as Richmond brings it forward. Down the near boards. It's Eamon McDonald. He'll be knocked off the puck. It squirts loose behind the net. Thrown in front. Denied by Beeson. And he'll clear it the length of the ice. And Chapel Hill another change on the penalty kill. 45 seconds left on the man advantage for Richmond. 4:10 left in the period. Moved up the near boards. Across the blue line into the zone. Powering in front, and it's forced wide. The net comes off the moorings for Douthit. And we'll have an offensive zone face-off for the Richmond Spiders coming here. 4:01 to go in the period. 34 seconds left on the power play for Richmond. And they're going to have to take a look at the moorings on this near net down here in front of us. But it's come off pretty easily for Douthit as he's tried to get a bearing with that right skate. Beeson gloves down the dump in, and he'll clear it all the way out. That should kill off most of the rest of this penalty for Carolina. Pinned up in the far corner, Mason Regan on the kill. He'll scrum for it, forces it back behind the Richmond net. Loose on the side of the goal, and the Spiders are able to clean it up. Just 9 seconds left on their power play. So a great kill from the Tar Heels. Behind the play, we have a man down as Matt Richard comes away with the puck behind his own net. Loses it, and it'll be stolen away, though, on the centering pass as Beeson moves it forward down the near side boards. Thrown in front. That one's deflected into the corner. Big hit in that corner on Beeson. And things are getting very physical out there. Noah Friedman absorbs a hit. Keeps the puck, gets it into the corner, gets it back. Backhands one toward the goal, but can't get it all the way to Moore. We've got a trip and a penalty coming on Richmond as this one bounces in front, pinballs around, and finally the Spiders get control. And we'll have a stoppage and a penalty on Richmond. There's going to be a holding call. 2-minute minor and a man advantage for the Tar Heels. Still waiting to see who the guilty party is. Now, it looks like it'll be the junior defenseman Adam Fontana who is sent to the box. 2:54 to go in the period. 2 minutes of that, assuming the power play runs in its entirety. We'll see Carolina a man up. Off the faceoff, a scrum ensues. Richmond comes away with it, and it's dumped off the boards and all the way down. Daniel Jones back behind the UNC cage to start the breakout. Up the near boards, he's got Gelatley. Gelatley forced off the puck, but he'll chase it down behind the net. Circling, Gelatley still in control. Working back to the point, thrown across ice to the far side of the net. It's loose, but Charlie Moss jumps on it, and we'll have a whistle and a face-off with 2:24 to go in the period. 91 ticks left on the power play clock for Carolina, trying to jump their lead back up to 2 goals. They scored 3 straight after falling behind in the first couple of minutes of this one. But a power play goal for Craig McDonald. And the Richmond Spiders have cut that lead in half since then. 2:15 to go in the period. 1:20 on the power play. Carolina forced back to their own end, looking to break it out. Jesse Jacobs up for Jones on the near boards. Flip back to the center. Gelatley takes over, splits the D down the middle. Couldn't control the puck, has to work behind. Throws it in front, and the one-timer goes home. Friedman from Gelatley, and it's 4-2 on that power play goal. Well, both teams had a little bit of trouble on the power play in period number 1, but we've had 3 power play goals. 2 for Chapel Hill, 1 for Richmond here in the second period. Just under 2 minutes to play in the second as we restart play. A 2-goal advantage for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Richmond moving forward, though, into the near corner, looking to cut in front. Plenty of Tar Heel defenders there to force that one back to the boards. Big hit, jars the puck loose, and now a chance coming for Carolina, but we've got a whistle. And I think we're going to have matching penalties here on Mason Regan and Owen Grady. I'll see. They were both going at it behind the play, and Grady doesn't want to go, but I think he's going to be told he has to. It looked by the nature of the discussion that they would, but this is going to be a penalty solely on Carolina. And it'll be Regan to the box for the extracurriculars behind the play. And now Richmond a chance to respond to that last power play goal. They'll scrum for it along the boards. Oliveira comes out with it and backhands one up into the net. So another offensive zone faceoff for Richmond here on the power play. 1:31 to go in the period, 1:53 on the power play. So this could run about half a minute into the third period if Richmond doesn't score here. One back to the point. Richmond on the near sideboards. Not much room there for Craig McDonald. And Carolina will counter. It's Reese moving up the far boards, throws one to the center. Can't get it to the net. And now Richmond moves it back up the ice. Near side Fontana. He'll be forced off the puck. Cleaned up by McDonald, who's got 2 goals. Over to McIntyre, thrown to the net, off the chest protector of Douthit, swung back behind him, and it'll be knocked behind the net. That one looked like it might deflect off his back and in. Douthit finally back to his feet. Richmond throws another one at the net, and it's shouldered away by Will Douthit. Under a minute to go in the period. 1:10 left on the power play as the puck squirts to the near corner. Slapped up the boards, but not out by Kramer. They'll fight for it on the near side boards. Stolen away, a chance for Richmond. Near side shot is off the mask, it looked like, of Douthit, and we'll get another whistle and a hand pass called. That'll bring the play out of the zone. A little bit of a break for Carolina as they get a mini clear here with 36.5 seconds to go in the period. Just under a minute left on the power play. And we'll get ready to restart here in front of the Richmond bench. Face-off, one to the far boards, and it looks like the linesman will say this one deflected off of the glove of a Richmond player on the bench. They'll have to redo this face-off. It deflected up and hit a glove on that Richmond bench. 32 seconds to go now. This time Richmond wins the face-off cleanly. They'll dump it deep. Near corner, fought for, cleared up the boards and all the way out by Beeson. With 20 seconds to go in the period, Richmond gonna have to move quickly back up ice. They'll streak up the near side. Headman pass, finds an open Messineo, pardon me. Now swinging around the net. 5 seconds to go along the sideboards. Richmond's got to get one to the net. Slap shot deflected just wide, and it'll roll into the near corner to finish off period number 2. Pair of power play goals for the Tar Heels. A goal for Richmond, and it is a 4-2 hockey game in favor of Chapel Hill after 2 periods. Well, we'll have another coach joining us on the other side of our break here in the second intermission. We heard from Ben Sizemore in our first intermission. We'll get another assistant coach and Tim Bukowski here in the second intermission. We'll be right back here from Hillsborough.
I'm Mason Regan. I'm a junior on the team this year. Check out our new website, UNChockey.com. We have our team schedule, roster. We have a team store set up too, and it's for a 501c company, so all donations are tax deductible. Come out and see us play sometime.
Welcome back to the Orange County Sportsplex here in Hillsborough, North Carolina. Chris Lehman now alongside assistant coach Tom Bukowski of the Tar Heels. And a little bit better period, get a few more goals, a little more production, particularly with that power play. What was clicking there on the man advantage?
Well, I think the guys settled down a little bit more, moved the puck a little more effectively. And I think that they were getting to the puck and outmanning the other team. And I think one of the things that the kids need to learn as they're getting older is to have a little more patience. You know, they're so used to flying up and down the ice quickly, just trying to make a play. But if they change their pace a little bit, set it up, calm down a little bit, have a little more patience, that makes a difference.
Well, and in goal, you also got a good effort from Will Douthit. The goal that Richmond does get, pretty nice tip on a power play as well. But what can you say, particularly at the end of the period, Will looked very good.
You know, he's been dominant all year, to be quite honest. He's a young guy. He's, I think, a sophomore this year. Hard-working in practice. That goal that they got was off of a tip, but we could have blocked it up at the blue line. It was a little bit of an overskate. We learn from our mistakes. We go on, and but he's been great all year for us.
You'll have to be great in that third period. Going to be a tight one. 4-2 score right now after 2 periods, pardon me. But what do you need in that last 20 minutes to hold on to that 2-goal advantage?
Well, for sure, it's maintain composure, maintain control of the puck. Things can get a little bit chippy out there. The energy's going, the emotions get going, and if the guys can keep their calm demeanor, keep control of the puck, then I think we can keep it going to the end of the game.
All right, thanks, Tom. Chris Lehman alongside Tom Bukowski, assistant coach of the Tar Heel hockey team. And before we head off, I want to get the fans at home a chance to know a little bit more about you and your role with this team. So as an assistant coach, what are you doing on the bench and during practices for the team?
Well, it's just to help Coach Jeff. I mean, Volkman's a great guy. He's got things very organized, and I just kind of help him keep a little bit more level during the game, give a few insights into what the players need to work on. It's really just to support him and help the team any way we can.
All right, well, it's certainly working out right now. Looking to go 4-0-1 in the first 5 games. 20 minutes left, a 4-2 lead for Chapel Hill over Richmond. We'll be back with the third period after this.
Welcome back to the Orange County Sportsplex. 40 minutes down, 20 to go. A little bit more eventful second period between UNC and Richmond. Your Tar Heels with a 4-2 lead, but they will have to kill off the last 22 seconds of a power play here to start this period. A couple of power play goals. Again, from the vantage point we have down here in the corner, from what we could tell, it was Kramer from Adamson on the power play about halfway through the period that made it 2-1. Gelatley added another one a couple minutes later before McDonald tipped a shot from Luke McIntyre a minute and a half later to make it 3-2, and then another power play mark, this time Noah Friedman with his second from Matt Gelatley late in the period, has us at 4-2. Well, Carolina, good start to this third. They're able to force the puck deep a couple times, and that will finish off the Richmond power play. Back to full strength, just 30 seconds in to period number 3. Patrick Kramer retreats to the neutral zone, looking for space, gaining speed. Now he's going to streak it down the far boards. Thrown to the middle, rebound controlled and held by Charlie Moss. So we'll get an offensive zone faceoff for the Tar Heels here. Not quite a minute into period number 3. Well, one of the things that you heard from assistant coach Tom Bukowski at the break was discipline is going to be key in this third period. We talked a little bit about it throughout this game, referencing that Elon loss where discipline kind of went away towards the end of that game and gave Elon some chances to take the lead. A shot left in front, and the rebound is knocked back out. The point shot is knocked down in front, and Richmond will move it out into neutral ice, but not further. Tar Heels take over at their own blue line. Cleared up along the benches and switch to the near side where Richmond will clear it up. Room through the middle. Drop to the far boards, thrown towards the net. That one got deflected over the top and out of play. We'll have a face-off to the right of Will Douthit down in the Carolina zone. 18:52 to go in the third, but we were mentioning the discipline kind of faded for Chapel Hill against Elon, and they lost a 3-0 lead late in the second period in that game. And we've seen in this one, both teams been more than willing to engage after the play and let it be known that they're not going to get pushed around. It's resulted in a couple penalties on both sides, and you can't let those hurt you here in the third if you're UNC. They'll fight for it in the neutral zone. It's forced into the North Carolina end. Tar Heels can't touch it because of a hand pass, and now they'll be forced to. And we get a whistle and a stoppage of play. So this face-off again will be to that far right side of Will Douthit. And Carolina wins it. Back into the far corner. Matt Richard swings it up the boards. Can't get it out though. Spiders send it right back into that corner. Again, Richard trying to shovel it out. This time the Tar Heels control and get it into neutral ice, but it'll be stopped up at the red line by Knowlton. And the Spiders clear it deep. With the paddle, it's steered behind the net by Douthit, swung around the boards, and a chance for Chapel Hill to move forward. Down the near side, circling behind Noah Friedman. Already 2 goals on the evening. Looking for a third. Tried to get it out in front, deflected back behind. Now Richmond will cycle it around to the near side boards. Pinching Jones. Down to the corner, centering pass is deflected right into the breadbasket of Moss by Friedman. And we'll have a face-off right here on the near side in front of the Richmond net. A little over 2 minutes gone, a little bit slower paced start to this third period. It's been a good flow through the middle of these periods. Not a lot of stoppages, just back and forth, chance for chance. Face off one backwards. Richmond in control. Cycle to the far side corner. It'll be scrummed for by Adamson and Messineo. Messineo wins that battle. Up for McIntyre, and he'll shovel it along that far boards. Tracked down by Daniel Jones, loses an edge as he swings it to the near side boards. Because he lost that edge, inaccurate pass, and it'll be cleared back in by Richmond. Now the Tar Heels having trouble controlling out of their zone. The Spiders keep taking it away in neutral ice. Down in the near corner. It'll be dropped back to the point, thrown towards the goal and into the far corner. Spiders still in control. Centering pass picked off, and a chance to counter for the Tar Heels, but Adamson's move around on the boards is stalled out at the defense. Stolen away, though, by Reese to the near circle, and the shot from Jake Wieland is off a stick and into the net behind for a face-off. Well, a great effort by Ben Reese to come in after Adamson had been denied with a great forecheck to create that scoring chance. 16:56 to go in period number 3. Offensive zone face-off for the Tar Heels. One backwards by Regan. The one-time shot from Oliveira is blocked, and a chance on the break for Richmond to the middle, and the shot goes wide. A great chance on a breakout play for Richmond that doesn't come up with anything. Slap shot from Oliveira, top of the near circle, sticked away by Moss. Richmond in control. They clear it up to the blue line. And that's where Carolina takes over. Down to the corner, Regan. Back up to the point. Oliveira slings it on. Rebound is poked home. Beeson finishes, and it's 5-2 Chapel Hill after Kyle Oliveira just throws it at the net. And that's how a lot of those goals have been scored today. Just camping somebody out in front, getting the puck there with traffic, and finding the rebounds. So we're back to center ice to restart play. Just over 16 minutes to play. Off the center ice face-off. It's controlled forward by Richmond and slapped into the zone by Eamon McDonald. Controlled behind their own net by Chapel Hill. They'll shovel it up the far boards and out. A chance coming in. Here comes Gelatley. Whistles a wrist shot wide on the near side boards. And that one will find its way all the way back into the Chapel Hill zone. Now off camera, I did talk with Coach Bukowski a little bit about Gelatley as a shot from the point whistles wide of the glove of Douthit. But he's got that howitzer of a slap shot and a pretty equally powerful wrist shot as we just saw. It's a great weapon, but he talked about the downsides of it as well. As a centering pass denied by the Chapel Hill defense, they'll take control in the slot and move it up the far boards. Back to the middle. A chance moving forward. 2-on-1 if they hurry. Waiting. Gelatley trying to find someone in front, but that option's not there. They'll eventually throw it there anyhow, and it's swallowed up by Moss for another faceoff. 15:21 to go in the third. 5-2 Carolina. But to get back to that heavy shot, certainly a weapon for Gelatley, but it can be a problem, and we've seen it a little bit in this game. If he misses the net, that puck rings around the boards and all the way out of the zone and turns into a free clearance and sometimes a free scoring opportunity for opponents. Off the faceoff, Richmond clears it out all the way down. They will say that Chapel Hill got a touch to it, so no icing called. And play will continue, not for long though, as Oliveira is forced into his own bench. Puck is popped up out of play into the Carolina bench. And we'll get a face-off in the neutral zone. 15:05 to go in the third. On the scoring line turning out pretty similarly to the one a couple of weeks ago up in Virginia. It was a 6-3 final in favor of Chapel Hill. Stretch pass all the way in on Moss. His clearance is sticked down and then thrown in front. A great play by Adamson to knock that down and get a chance, but no one was home in front. Now it's Reese as Carolina puts the pressure on again. Slap shot wide from the far side. Kramer has to track it down outside of the zone. He'll gather speed through the neutral zone. Working around, circling behind the net. Swings a pass in front. It's popped up and deflected away. Now Richmond a chance to move forward. Down the near boards. It'll be cleared in from the blue line by Adam Fontana. And that'll give Richmond a chance to change. Carolina with space. Because of that change, we'll move forward. Into the near corner, Reese has it poked away. Behind him, Adamson comes away with it. Tried to slip a pass in front, but it's taken away and cleared out. Reese again in control at the red line. He'll gain it and clear it. Chapel Hill needs a change now. Glove down in the near corner, pass to the middle, knocked down by Carolina. A chance to move forward, shot low, is kicked out in front, but not to a stick. And Chapel Hill will continue the attack. Beeson, the most recent goal scorer, drops it back to the point. Wrist shot on goal, sticked away by Moss, and the rebound is cleaned up and cleared out by the Richmond defense. They'll work it up the near boards and throw it all the way down in deep. Around the boards, it'll work all the way back up to the blue line. Bad backhand pass from that blue line, stolen away, and a chance coming here on the break. Moving in, swinging around. It's Carlson who gets worked over and couldn't get it in front. Beeson picks up the loose change. He'll center for Regan, and it's 6-2. Right on the doorstep, backside. And it's Mason Regan with his first. Beeson now with 2 points on the game. And Carolina starting to run away with this one. We're seeing everything that the coaching staff for the Tar Heels wanted to see coming out of the second period break. They've been disciplined. They haven't made too many bad decisions. Of course, as I say that, where you get a hand up for a penalty. And that is a bad timing for a penalty. And it looks like we'll get a slash, or no, interference, pardon me, on UNC, and it came right off that face-off. Wait to see that number. It looks like it's Noah Friedman being sent to the sin bin. 13:01 to go in the third. A lot of work now to do for Richmond. Carolina in the first 7 minutes of this period have doubled their lead to 4 goals. But a power play chance coming here, and we'll have a pause. There's been some trouble getting the penalties up on the scoreboard all night. But they'll get it up now, and we're ready to go. 2-minute man advantage for Richmond after the interference call on Noah Friedman. Scrum off the face-off, thrown off the shoulder of Douthit, who forced that one away, and Chapel Hill will clear it all the way down. Good start to the penalty kill for the Tar Heels. Far side boards, moved forward for Eamon McDonald. He'll leave it back on his own blue line. And Richmond slowly moving forward, cautiously almost, particularly for a power play. And the pass backhanded out in front, off the shoulder of Douthit, and it'll pinball in. Well, I can't tell you who got the last touch on it. Douthit motioning as though it were knocked in with a hand pass. And he continues with that motion, but that's the way that you've had that Richmond has had to score on Will Douthit, is just get a bunch of traffic in front. They either don't let him see the shot or get the second chance. And so it's 6-3 Richmond getting the goal on the power play. I think it's worth noting that 2 of the 3 Richmond goals have come on the power play, so certainly North Carolina has been the better team at even strength here today. And for that matter, on the power play, they got a trio of man advantage goals themselves. Richmond trying to make this a game again, moving forward. Wrist shot fought off by Douthit into the far corner, and UNC will break it out. Played off the boards in the middle of the ice. An awkward carom for Zach Nodden. And Carolina will have to chase it down on the forecheck. Near corner, Friedman comes away with it. To the point. Daniel Jones shoots one into the far corner. Back to the point. The one-time attempt is blocked up top and cleared out by Richmond. Could have been a chance there to counter, but a nice job at the point by Jones to keep that one from going any further. Well, they'll fight for it at the Carolina blue line. Richmond holds the zone, flipped in further, but gloved down nicely by Daniel Jones, and he'll clear it out. Hit the skate of a changing Tar Heel player. That'll give Richmond a chance to move back in, and the shot from the top of that far circle hits a stick and deflects into the netting behind. We'll have another face-off for Richmond in their offensive zone. And they've certainly brought a little bit more energy since falling behind early in this period. And for the last about 2 minutes, they've certainly controlled most of the action and picked up a goal. And I say the last 2 minutes because 2 minutes ago was when Regan made it 6-2. Richmond since has cut the lead down to 3, and they're trying to break it even further. On the far boards, it'll be furthered by Carolina's Adamson, only to the blue line though. And finally Richmond loses it out into neutral ice. They'll clear it back in behind the Carolina cage. Or Chapel Hill will reset up the near boards. No one there. A chance at the point. Deflected in front, and the rebound chance gets knocked wide. Another golden opportunity for Richmond to cut further into that Carolina lead. 10.5 minutes to go in the third. 6-3, Chapel Hill with the lead. They'll set up the breakout behind their own net as it's brought up the near boards, and now we've got a whistle. There was a Carolina player that went down behind the play, and I think that is what will incite this call. But a 2-minute man advantage for Chapel Hill. And Carolina has been very successful on their last few power plays, and they'll have another chance here. $10:19 left in the game. Offensive zone face-off to start the power play for UNC. It'll be Beeson to take it, and he'll win it backwards to the point. Moved to the near side, top of the circle, slap shot right into the glove of Moss from Matt Gelatley. We've mentioned the kind of shot he has. That didn't look like his best. It wasn't quite in his wheelhouse, but it was close. Face-off will switch to the near circle. Again, one backwards to Gelatley this time. He'll go cross ice. Looking. Thrown to the front. Nobody there to get a stick on it, as Daniel Jones threw that one to the middle. Still Carolina in control. Loose in the slot, and it's backhanded just wide as Moore was down and left an open cage for Beeson. Speaking of Beeson, he's got it back at the near point. Over to Jones. Down low, Gelatley in the near corner. Soft pass up the boards. That'll force Beeson to pinch. He pokes it to Gelatley, and it'll be dropped back to Friedman, who finds a teammate in Jesse Jacobs. Jacobs forced to retreat back to center ice. Leaves it for Gelatley to the near boards. He's got Beeson. Beeson fakes the shot, the pass, looking for the stick of Friedman. Just missed. And Richmond will clear it out. 9:20 to go in the period. A minute left on the man advantage, but a chance coming here for Richmond. Moving in. And we're going to get a penalty here on Carolina as the, oh no, we won't. We might get a penalty there on Chapel Hill for the hit in front with the pass coming in. But we'll continue to play. Friedman misses wide from the near boards. Richmond clears out with 45 seconds left on the man advantage. Another break for the Spiders. In on goal, they score. Short-handed strike on the breakaway for the Richmond Spiders, and it is a 2-goal game. Adam Fontana. Or no, pardon me. It looked like he was celebrating, but it got knocked wide. And that's that far end of the ice. It looked like that one had gone through, but they'll continue to play. Still a man advantage for Chapel Hill, up 6-3. Oliveira whistles a wrist shot wide. That one rings all the way around the boards and out with 8:25 to go. Adamson in neutral ice. Lifts one to the near side. Top of the circle, shot coming, and Kramer lifts it over the goal. Power play over, we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. We'll see if Richmond, who got some great shorthanded chances, can create more at even strength. They'll get it back behind the Chapel Hill cage. Carolina tries to throw it out, stopped on the far blue line, and dumped back in. 8 minutes to go. And you're starting to run low on time if you're Richmond. Weak shot was fought off again by the shoulder of Douthit and eventually cleared out. Luke McIntyre at his own blue line for Richmond lofts a stretch pass forward. Nobody there to connect with, and Carolina takes it back. Kyle Oliveira played through the middle looking for Regan. It's off his skate, and Richmond clears it deep once again. Behind his net, Douthit leaves it for a defenseman, brought back out. Straight up the middle, and the pass is poked away. But Carolina still able to break it out. Oliveira dumps it deep, a race on the icing call, and Richmond will win it. So this faceoff will go all the way back into the Chapel Hill zone. And a chance with some tired bodies out there for Richmond to maybe get that goal we thought they had a minute ago. 7:19 to go in the third. It is still a 6-3 lead for UNC, thanks to a couple of goals this period from Beeson and Regan. The face-off, they'll scrum for it. Still nobody coming away with definitive possession. Finally, Carolina has it, moving straight through the neutral zone. It'll be pushed forward for Beeson. Beeson has it stripped, and a chance maybe coming here. Richmond moving back on the counter. Nice back check from Matt Richard, coming from behind to swipe that away from Jack Hutchinson. On the far boards, Carolina in control. It'll be cleared all the way out. And Richmond takes back control from the blue line. It'll be wristed in by Messineo. And Richmond controls now at the point. Messineo doing a lot of work just to keep this in the zone, and he loses it. Cleared out, a chance here for Gillespie. In alone, and the wrist shot's blocker down by Moss. If it weren't for Charlie Moss, this could be a 10-3 game, the way that Carolina has peppered him with shots in the last couple periods. 6:15 to go in the game. A chance out in front. A sprawling save made by Will Douthit on the rebound that came off the back boards and out in front. But all these chances that are coming up just short for Richmond, they're going to look back at and regret they weren't able to put one of them home. Face off on the far side of the Carolina goal. Tar Heels win it. Clearance doesn't get out, though. And the slot working with it is Messineo. He'll be double teamed and lose possession. Wrapped around the boards. Still Richmond in control. Adam Fontana drops it to the point. Swung around the boards and behind the net. Worked out in front. Turnaround shot is into the chest protector of Douthit, and he'll hold on to it for another face-off. Carolina, you never want to get into that mode where you're playing not to lose. But if you're Chapel Hill at this point, a good defensive effort with a 3-goal lead and just under 6 minutes to play should be good enough to close out this hockey game. Richmond, though, wins the faceoff. They're not going to give up without a fight. McIntyre lifts one towards the goal, and it's deflected away in front. McIntyre, another chance, slaps this one into the glass behind. Thrown out in front from the far boards. Nobody there to put it home for Richmond. But they put on a good forecheck here. And now it'll finally be cleared out by Carolina. A chase to the puck in the Richmond zone. It'll be slapped into the far corner by Kramer. Tracks it down on a pass from Reese. And Carolina a chance to send up the offense. Centering pass from the near corner from Oliveira is picked off. And Richmond moves out in the neutral zone. Missed pass, though. We'll give it back to the Tar Heels. Thrown in on net from Oliveira. And the rebound centered back in front by Kramer and shoveled into the chest of Charlie Moss by Chris Adamson. Just over 5 minutes to go now. Offensive zone faceoff coming up here for Carolina with a 3-goal advantage. This is the exact score we saw between these two teams back in September when Chapel Hill won up in Virginia. And off the faceoff, Richmond wins it in front, loses control quickly. A loose puck, and the whistle comes early as the puck was still loose on the doorstep, but as you see the signal from the official, what I couldn't see was the far post. It apparently had come off of the moorings. And so they'll face off again on the near side here. This time Chapel Hill wins it back from the point. The wrist shot goes wide, thrown out in front. That pass denied. Richmond looking to clear. Nice hold at the blue line, at least temporarily, by Graham Karen. Richmond moving forward though, and a nice stand-up save on the transition shot by Will Douthit. .444 left on the clock. And this faceoff will be to the near side of Douthit and the Chapel Hill cage. But one thing you have to give Richmond credit for is they have not stopped fighting. In fact, they have looked like, for the most part, since that second goal this period by North Carolina, they have looked like the better team. We've got some pushing and shoving after Douthit covers up on the far side post. The officials there quickly to mitigate that and get us ready for another face-off. Well, this time it'll be on the far side of Douthit. Carolina controls off the face-off. A lot of speed down the near side. Pass to the center from Friedman is blocked away. And Richmond does a nice job defending in transition there. They're going to counter themselves. Right through the middle. Shot blockered away by Douthit from the high slot. And North Carolina will move it out into the neutral zone before Richmond knocks it back again, and Carolina takes control. Gaining the blue line, Gelatley looked to float one in for Friedman towards the goal. That one got blocked away in front. Swung back from the far boards towards the net by Zach Nodden, and there's no one there to connect. Now Richmond has a chance to move up the far boards. Shot goes wide from the near side, and the rebound off the boards picked up by Carolina. Got it out just briefly. Richmond going to have to check up as they knock it back deep. And Daniel Jones controls for Chapel Hill. Long pass up the near side for Friedman, forcing his way in front. Gets it to the slot, and the shot stopped on the far side post by Charlie Moss. Another great chance for the Tar Heels. This time it was Nodden who was denied by the Richmond goaltender. Well, that's good teamwork that you see from this Chapel Hill hockey team. Friedman had a chance there if he wanted to try and force his way in and shoot that puck. Instead, he found Nodden, who had a much better opportunity, and he was robbed by Charlie Moss. As we restart play, 3:15 to go in the third. Richmond moving forward. Floating shot from the point, catches the glass behind the net. And it'll be worked into the near corner. Carolina in control. Breakout pass, finds Gelatley. Looking to center, to a teammate, and it's off the stick of Kramer. And he couldn't get a shot away. Leaves it in the near corner. Reese will scrum for it. He's double teamed. Reese pokes it up the boards. Adamson comes away with it. Moves to the high slot, looking for a lane to the net, and his shot's blocked on the ice. And knocked up the far boards. Awkward carom off the glass. Still able to get it out, Richmond, but they can't control it in neutral ice. Under 3 to go. Chapel Hill circling in their own end. Up for Oliveira, gets a stick to it. The clearance, he steals. Back to the near side for Adamson. He'll pull the trigger, and a nice job in front of the net by the defense of Richmond to get a stick on that shot from Chris Adamson and deflect it up over the net. So 2:25 to go. Still a 3-goal advantage for UNC. And they've got the offensive zone face-off, which is won by Mason Regan, but perhaps a little too well, as he won it past his defenseman Graham Karen and out of the zone. They'll fight for it in neutral ice. Richmond gets control and sends it deep behind the net. Douthit into the near corner. Oliveira, soft pass up the boards to the middle, is behind the intended target, and Matt Richard. That'll give Richmond a chance to toss this one back behind the North Carolina net and set up a forecheck. Poked to the center of the ice and stolen away by the UNC defense. Daniel Jones lifts it up the ice, giving chase. Carolina a chance. Diving pass denied, but a good hustle from Carolina's Matt Richard to try and get that one into the middle for a scoring chance. Back the other way, a wrist shot into the glove of Douthit, easily caught, and he'll hold on for the whistle. And a face-off in the Carolina zone with 1:33 to play. Well, as we close this one out, we'll take a look too at what is upcoming for North Carolina, and we will here on YouTube have a stream of all of the home games for North Carolina this season. The next of those being next Saturday, same time, a 3:45 start. Richmond moving out in front, but they can't get it to the net. Carolina defensively collapsed in and took away all the space there. The clock right now is paused at 1:33, but it should be running. Carolina moving in. Friedman, power move to the net, throws it back in front. A nice job by Moss to deny him the shot, and there was no one there to finish off the loose puck in front. Still, Carolina in control. Back to the point. It'll be wrapped around the boards, out of the reach of Freeman, and it'll work all the way up to the point. Jackson Thomas pickpocketed. Richmond clears it out. Clock rolling again, 1:15 to play here in the third. Carolina moves it into their offensive zone, stealing the clearing pass into the near corner. And it'll be thrown back out in front. But a nice forechecking play by Nodden. And Carolina continues to put the pressure on in the offensive zone. An awkward carom off to Stanchion. Richmond still controls on the clearance, under a minute to go as it's fired wide by Fontana. Richmond trying to set up an attack here late in the game. Behind the net, they'll scrum. And a little trip up there with slow little time left. They'll allow that to slide, and play will continue. Carolina collects the loose change in the far corner, circling behind the net. That'll be brought up and out. Cross ice pass off the boards. Icing will be waved off as the pass, which was intended for Chris Adamson, was out of his reach. He still won the race and beat out the icing call. So an offensive zone face-off coming here for North Carolina. 24 seconds to play in this one as the Tar Heels look to have closed this one out nicely in the final 20 minutes. Face-off. They'll fight for it in the middle of the circle, and it's eventually poked towards the net by Kramer, where Charlie Moss covers up for another face-off. Kramer to take it once more for Chapel Hill. Richmond wins it right back to their goaltender again, and Moss covers up once more. Well, that's just 5.4 seconds that have run off the clock on the last two face-offs. Again, Carolina looking to move forward. It'll be shoveled into the far corner, though, by the Richmond defense, and they've got a chance to control and break out. Across the red line, they dump it deep. Douthit out of his net to play it. He'll shovel it up the far boards and out, and that should close out the final seconds of this one. As the horn sounds, the Tar Heels come away with their fourth win of the season. They have yet to be beaten in regulation. With the win, they move to 4-0-1 on the young season. Richmond, in their sixth contest, drops to 2-4 with the loss, but a strong showing from Chapel Hill. We're not quite done here in Hillsborough. We'll be back with head coach Jeff Volkman in just a moment. Final count here at Orange County Sportsplex is UNC 6 and Richmond 3.
I'm Mason Regan. I'm a junior on the team this year. Check out our new website, unchockey.com. We have our team schedule, roster. We have a team store set up too, and we're a 501c company, so all donations are tax deductible. Come out and see us play sometime.
Welcome back to the Orange County Sportsplex here in Hillsborough, North Carolina. Chris Lehman now alongside defenseman Kyle Oliveira of the Tar Heels after a 6-3 win over Richmond. And we'll start kind of by comparing this game to the other game up in Virginia against the Spiders. Same result, but how was the game a little bit different for you?
They came out firing this time. We weren't really expecting that, sitting back on our heels, but after that first goal, we got back into it. Definitely started putting the momentum back on our side and getting shots on net, pucks in the net, pucks deep, you know.
And we talked to assistant coach Ben Sizemore at the first intermission. He talked about the defense in particular stepping up at that offensive blue line and really creating some problems after that first push from Richmond.
Yeah, we really try and implement that pinch on those Ds so our high guy stays back. That gets the defense involved in the play a lot more and gives us another option down low.
And you also had to weather a push late in the game from Richmond as well. After you get up 6-2, they get that power play goal and then kind of control the play for a little bit. How did you guys get back into a rhythm and finish out that game?
Yeah, we just tried to open up the ice up a little bit more and then get some passes cross ice and slow down the game a little bit for them so that way they couldn't get too much momentum on their side.
All right, Kyle, thanks for talking to me and congratulations on the win.
Thank you for talking to me.
All right, that's Kyle Oliveira, defenseman for the Tar Heels. We're going to take a very brief break, and we'll be back with head coach Jeff Volkman after this. We're back after a 6-3 victory here in Hillsborough, North Carolina at the Orange County Sportsplex. UNC takes down the Richmond Spiders today. I've got head coach Jeff Volkman now with me. Coach, you get, as I was talking about with Kyle, literally the exact same result, 6-3 win as you had up in Virginia against this Spiders team. But from a coaching standpoint, what did you see differently? Because you certainly get a lot of development over those first few games.
Yeah, you know, right now you just, as a coach, it's early in the season. You know, it's a long season. You want the guys to follow a process and get better. And, you know, our execution was getting better. We kind of had the same slow start as last time. It emulated the same game. You know, we're still starting to play, you know, we're playing at the pace of our opponent, which we got to start dictating the pace a little bit more on that and polishing that up. But, you know, a W is a W, and there's a lot of good things to work, you know, that we need to work on, obviously, but we'll take a lot of good things away from this.
And one thing that you had mentioned to me before the game that you wanted to make sure your team did well today was being disciplined. You had some issues making some mistakes, committing some penalties against Elon in that overtime loss in your last game, but you looked a little bit better, a little bit more under control in that third period. How did you like the way especially your team responds after they give that quick goal back after getting up by 4?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, discipline on the technical side too, and just making smart decisions out there, and that's what we're seeing. You know, we don't want our emotions to get the best of us. There's a lot of composure on the bench, and those are little things we're working on that'll help down the road and make us a stronger team. So a really strong finish. You know, little things like we're missing the net a lot. You know, the score could have went, you know, a little bit higher there, you know, for us. You know, but those are things that we're going to execute on, and we need to work on a little bit more in practice. But you know, I'll take the 6-3 win and the 2 points all day long.
Chris Lehman alongside head coach Jeff Volkman of the North Carolina Tar Heels. One last question for you, Coach. Obviously, a league win today in the ACCHL, that's big to get off to a good start in league play. But what do you want to see from your team coming forward as you get into a little bit more of that meat of the schedule? You got a tough Charlotte team coming up next week.
Yeah, you know, we just have to tighten things up. You know, we're a very system-oriented team this year. We've got a short bench, and you know, we have to play smart. We have to be tactically smart out there, emotionally. You know, we have to play discipline like we were talking about earlier. If we do not play that way, you know, teams will come in and wear us down real fast. So, you know, we have to dictate the pace of the play and, you know, shorten up our shifts out there. And as long as we do that and play smart, and you know, hopefully we don't get any injuries this year, we're gonna put up a good fight. So.
All right, Coach, thanks for taking some time to talk to me, and congratulations on the win today.
All right, thank you.
That's head coach Jeff Volkman of the Tar Heels. That's all we have for you today. The final count again, 6-3 UNC over Richmond. We'll see you next Saturday right here again as Charlotte comes to town.